So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
Let us begin.
What is up, good people? Welcome to the MadHouse. This is your host, Dave Johnson, coming to you every Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Now, you can find us out on Facebook at facebook.com/WTT MadHouse, or you can follow us out on Twitter at twitter.com/WTT MadHouse. Now, originally, I know I told y'all I was going to do a show on wage disparity. I even talked about having my cousin, who is a econ professor down there in Georgia. He was going to come on the show and he was going to break this down in layman's terms so folks could understand what these top 85, the wealthy 85, and how it is that they have so much more money than half of the population of the earth. However, we had technical difficulties this week, and unfortunately he was not able to be on the show. And you know, I was going to go ahead and tackle this myself and go on ahead and bring this show to you, and found myself woefully inadequate immediately. I don't know a fucking thing about economics, and nothing brought that to light more so than trying to figure out how to bring this show to you about wage disparity. I don't know shit about it. So and I really worked to the last hour. I worked to the 9th hour to try to go ahead and bring this to you, and the shit just didn't work out. So ultimately, I ended up having to change topics. So this is coming right off of the top of my head, tonight's show, which is a scary thing. The episode I did on weed and the episode I did on porn, actually all the episodes that I did, there was a lot of research that went into it. Even the episode on kids these days, which none of you motherfuckers listen to. If you go back and look at the shows that I did, all of the shows are either at 100 or over 100 views, except for kids these days. You talk about porn and weed and everybody wants to listen to that shit. You talk about the kids and none of you trifling motherfuckers wanted to listen to that shit. Go listen to my shit. It's some good stuff. Now, since the show is, ain't nobody getting paid for this. I'm doing this for fun right now. So I can go on ahead and change topics. So I'm going ahead and change the topic to something that I found out on Facebook. But before I even bring that up, I'm going to add a new element. This is a new element I'm going to add until motherfuckers start paying me for this shit. I'm going to start calling it Shout Out Sundays. Okay? On Shout Out Sundays, friends of mine, family of mine that have that entrepreneurial spirit, that have their own business, I'm going to go ahead and shout them out. And today's Shout Out Sunday is Trizzy's Glam Studio. Trizzy's Glam Studio out of Rockford, Illinois, 4215 East State Street. Now, this sounds like an old school 80s radio broadcast now, don't it? Trizzy's Glam Studio, 4215 East State Street, Suite 110, Rockford, Illinois. That's right. If you need your hair did, or if you're down in St. Louis and you need your hair did, go on ahead to Trizzy's Glam Studio. She will hook your shit up. She will butter you do. She'll take care of your nails and your feet. Wash them motherfucking feet before you go up in there. But give her a call at 815-670-9195. That's 815-670-9195. That's Trizzy's Glam Studio. Or you can find her out on Facebook simply by looking up Trizzy's Glam Studio, and that's TRIZZY''S. So like I said, the show changed for tonight. Tonight I want to talk about something that I saw out on Facebook in regards to comedian Cat Williams and a meltdown that he had in 2012, in December 2012 out in Oakland, California. Now, if you have not seen the video, I would suggest that you go on head out to YouTube and check this video out, because it is, I don't remember it hitting the news. I don't remember anybody talking about it. I know Cat was going through a whole lot of legal problems at the time, but I don't remember this in particular. But go check it out. As a matter of fact, if you look for it out on YouTube, I believe it's going to be under Cat Williams Has Crack Meltdown on Stage or some shit like that. But to watch it is really going to blow your mind, because Cat Williams was certainly one of the great comedians that was supposed to blow up, and suddenly he did exactly that. He blew the fuck up. So I want to talk about that this evening. And I'm not going to be out here talking about it by my goddamn self. I put the call out in the last episode and said that my fans that are listening to the show, if you want to go on there and participate, and that's what the show is about. It's about not just my voice, but the voice of my fans and the people that are out here on Facebook, because that's where all us old folks are. We out on Facebook. We ain't out on Instagram and Twitter and all that bullshit. We out on Facebook. So I said, if all of my Facebook folks want to come on in and lend their voice, let me know that you'd like to participate. And I got somebody on the show this evening that's going to participate with me. She's going to guest co-host. And yes, you heard correctly. I said she. We finally have a female voice out here on the MadHouse joining me this evening, all the way from the great state of Missouri. And I ain't even talking about St. Louis. I know y'all know I'm from St. Louis. I ain't talking about from St. Louis. I'm talking about from the home of Gates Barbecue, Miss Chocolate Sin.
Thank you very much.
What's going on, Mamacita?
I am doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in here. So listen now, Kat, Mr. Williams, have you seen the video that I'm talking about?
I have not seen the video per se, but I have heard about it. So I'm kind of aware of it, but I don't know all the full details of it.
Now, right around the same time that he had that meltdown out in Oakland, he also had one in Denver and then had a flat no-show, I do believe, out in Seattle. Now, if you remember right around that time, Kat had the incident with the Target employee who evidently needed some tightening up around the jawline because Kat slapped the shit out of him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Slapped the shit out of dude up in Target, and then Smooth rolled up out of there on one of them rascals. You remember that shit?
Yep, sure did. I don't know where the hell he thought he was going, but he was going some damn where with this little short ass.
Yeah, he had that incident at Target. He messed around and had an incident. He got arrested. I want to say there was a police chase with him. He was on a three-wheeler. I believe it was a motorized three-wheeler that they ended up. There was a police chase that involved him. But Cat was going through some shit around that period of time, and it's one of those things. Like I said, it happened, and then the world moved, and you didn't think anything about it. And then I see the video out there on Facebook, and it really made me think about Cat was supposed to be the next. He was supposed to be that comedian after Dave Chappelle and everything that went down with Dave going off to Africa, and which, by the way, while we're talking about Cat Williams and his meltdown, remember Dave Chappelle also had his meltdown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And ultimately ended up on Oprah discussing the issue, and the folks were asking questions about, was it Illuminati related? But ultimately, there's a whole lot of pressure that falls on Black comedians that seems to be fairly exclusive. I mean, you don't hear about white comedians breaking down like that, unless I'm mistaken, unless there's something that I'm missing. You don't hear about white comedians. There seems to be an interesting pressure that falls on Black comedians that ultimately they end up either melting down or in Dave Chappelle's case, going all the way back to Africa to get spiritual re-enlightenment. I mean, what do you think's going on?
Well, I don't know what's going on with the Black comedians, but I do know when those white comedians have a breakdown, they'll go over to Africa or wherever and go buy them some Black babies and bring them home. I don't know what the hell they be doing. I guess that's their considered them getting themselves together. Just go buy Black babies. Like, oh, I'm just going to buy a Black baby. I'll feel a little bit better. Think I'm healing the world doing that. I don't know. But
what white comedian went and bought a Black baby?
I don't know. They all do it. Hell, all of them. The comedians, the actresses, the actors, the $1 million businessman. They all do it. They probably just go buy a damn Black baby. I don't know. Make it feel better. But with Cat Williams, I don't know what the hell he was smoking, what he was drinking, and what he was mixing together, but he just lost it. I know he came here I think, well, he was supposed to come here. I want to say the end of last year, well, 2012. And I mean, he sold out the tickets. He had a big spot coming, and guess what? He didn't show up. Yeah, thanks, Kat. But anyway, I'm gonna need him to get himself together. Well, accordingly, he's supposed to be coming back, but I don't know how well he's gonna do at this point. But
actually, if you look out on YouTube, he recently started his comeback tour. As a matter of fact, I believe it's called Cat Is Back. And there's a video out on YouTube of him down in Tennessee with his new stand-up. And he looks like old Cat. He looks like the same Cat that came out and did, the Pimp Chronicles and Let a Player Play and American Hustle and all of that. All who Cat was, prior to this meltdown. And what's weird is it was over a very short period of time that this seemed to happen. It was just right there in that span of time, right in 2012, that suddenly he just snapped. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that you got some folks that are out here that are saying that Cat Williams quietly has mental issues. Cat Williams quietly has mental issues that is not being treated. And it makes me wonder whether or not they went on ahead and started doing something for the brother. Maybe he went and started getting some psychiatric help. And when you compile that with the amount of drugs that clearly he was using, that's not a good combination. That's not a good combination. If you are crazy and doing drugs, that's not a good combination. That's not a good combination. It's like I said about when I was riding on the bus before I finally got me a car. Thank you, Lord, I finally got me a car. But when I was riding on the bus, and there was somebody on the bus. Yes, the struggle is real. But there was somebody on the bus that was clearly out of their mind and was drinking. So they're on the bus and they're out of their mind and they're drinking. It's like a post I had to put out on Facebook. I'm like, that's not a good look for either the insane or the drunk. It's just a bad look. And for Cat, if he was dealing with mental issues, if he is dealing with mental issues and was compiling that with drugs, it might explain a meltdown like what you see in this video out there in Oakland, which, like I said, is fucked up. Now, my other question becomes, the person that pulled him off the stage was Suge Knight.
Oh, Lord.
And I had to go ahead and look it up. I'm like, what the fuck was Suge Knight even doing on the stage? And like I said, in 2012, it looks like he partnered with Suge Knight, or Suge Knight became his business manager. That who the fuck of all? Why would you pick Suge Knight to be your business manager?
I mean, was Suge Knight? I mean, is he broke because Tupac's dead? He needed some new money coming in. Was he a bouncer? Did he need something? It's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to use this manager title just to kind of get some money and have Cat Williams attached to it. I don't know.
What's interesting to me, you bring up Tupac, and the first thing I think to myself is Tupac. If you listen to the music that Tupac had prior to Suge Knight and Death Row, Tupac was a whole different person.
Right.
He hooks up with Suge Knight, and then suddenly he becomes this, extra thug motherfucker who ultimately ends up getting killed. But I think about Cat Williams in the same way. I'm like, okay, Cat Williams was Cat Williams. Everybody knew when he was doing his performances, 9 chances out of 10, he was on something. But you thought it was weed. You thought maybe it was alcohol. But then suddenly he hooks up with Suge Knight, and now he's jumping off the stage, picking fights with folks out in the crowd.
I don't know. What you think? He might be Black Lucifer or something, making business deals with the devil? I don't know.
I don't know that I would fuck with Suge Knight.
I sure as hell wouldn't.
That's a piss poor business decision. Why the fuck would you hook up with Suge Knight?
I'll go fuck with the Illuminati over here to the left. Thank you very much.
Is the Illuminati real? Do you think that's real?
I don't. Everybody's claiming every damn thing is Illuminati. Facebook and money and artists, it's all Illuminati, but I don't know.
Dave Chappelle say it's real.
I don't know. They
Dave
make
Chappelle
it
say it's
feel,
real.
but I don't know.
Cat Williams had an interview when now see the other thing is okay, Cat's supposed to be making this comeback, supposed to be making this huge comeback after everything that popped off over the last year. And what is paving the way for Cat Williams' comeback? Scary Movie 5.
Wow.
He's in Scary Movie 5.
What, he's gonna come in as a midget zombie or something? I mean,
who the fuck even puts that out there? That this I'm coming back. How do we know we coming back? Well, I'm doing Scary Movie 5, nigga. Okay, you ain't back. you ain't back. If Scary Movie 5,
come out
nigga,
in one of those Paranormal Activity bit movies. This is gonna come out of somewhere with a damn leprechaun outfit and shit. And like,
exactly. There you go. Leprechaun 6. That nigga should be a Leprechaun 6. Pimpacon.
Ass coming up in there with a purple ass suit. No. No, nigga, go sit down somewhere. Get your life right. Get it right. Come back.
Let me ask you this. Because I always think about this with Alicia Keys and what was my sister's name? Chocolate Sister came out the same time Alicia Keys came out.
India Arie?
India Arie. I always think about the two of them because when they came out, all of the awards went to Alicia Keys, even though India Arie's album, my God, she should have got just as many awards. But they chose to give it to Alicia Keys. Oh, I love India Arie. She's the shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about Cat Williams. Cat Williams is 4'0". Okay. Now you think about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is 4'0", right?
Right.
Kevin Hart doesn't start to blow up until Cat Williams starts to decline. When Cat Williams starts acting a fucking fool, suddenly we hearing all of this about Kevin Hart. I mean, am I right? That timeline is about right?
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah.
So my question is, I don't know if the world just needed a little tiny motherfucker to be funny, but what you think? Because Mike Epps and Kevin Hart had this Twitter feud going back and forth. I ain't know nothing about it till I decided I wanted to do this show. But I looked up and I realized that Kevin Hart and Mike Epps were going back and forth. Now they both trying to write the shit off like, haha, it's just fun and games between comedians. But Mike Epps made the comment that the only reason why Kevin Hart is even famous is because Cat Williams fell apart. What do you think? Do you think that's right?
You know, because just kind of looking back at it, Kevin Hart wasn't really a huge comedian while Cat was in the spotlight, because Cat, he was doing he did the Friday movie, and he had the different stand-up comedy shows that he was doing. He was doing the little side gigs and stuff, and he was actually doing very good. And then once he started having that meltdown, you do notice that once he goes down, Kevin starts going up. I don't know, they're on a midget war or something, and all of a sudden Kevin just started winning. I'm like, oh, okay, so one midget down, here go the other one. That's the only option we got. So let's blow his ass up and make him famous. But I don't know, because Kevin, he's funny in some ways, but he's got that comedic attitude, like, okay, I'm big now, I'm cocky, I got my show, I got my movies going, I got my comedy shows, and he's starting to get that big head, and now all of his shit starting to sound the same. Versus with Cat, you know, he's got different material. Every time you see him, he's coming up with something funny. And once he started having that meltdown, everybody's like, oh shit, let me just go ahead and leave him. I don't even want to be associated with still liking this nigga, so I'm gonna go over here to this other short nigga, and you know, kind of have my way with that. But I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna go the whole conspiracy theory route. Because if you think about what Dave Chappelle said in that interview on the Oprah Winfrey Show, when he talked about there was a conscious and pointed effort to destroy him once he made the decision that he wasn't going to conform. And I think about Cat Williams in the same way, because Cat Williams was very vocal about the fact that he was going to say what he wanted to say. He was going to speak the truth. There were certain things that he was going to do, and there were certain things that he wasn't going to do. Okay. And there's also an interview that Kevin Hart had very early on, where he talked about he was not going to wear the dress. Let's talk about the dress thing. The fact that every black comedian who blows up at some point in time, they got to wear the dress. And Cat Williams made it very pointed. Dave Chappelle made it very pointed. I wasn't going to wear the dress. And there was an attack against him, an immediate attack against him. Now, Kevin Hart, like I said, there's an early interview with Kevin Hart where he says, I'm not going to wear the dress. I'm not going that route. And then suddenly you look up, I want to say it was in the spring of this past year, where he's on SNL, and guess what? He's wearing the dress. And then afterwards, he's got a string of movies that pops up. He's got the movie with Robert De Niro that came out this year. He's got the Drive-By or whatever the movie is with Ice Cube. Right. He's got About Last Night. Suddenly, he's the man. He's the man because he conformed.
Yeah, he's got he had maybe 4 movies that came out last year alone that he was in, because he had.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's already been in 2 or 3 this year so far. So yeah, he's trying to do something. But hey, I agree with you, because there's some people that, this is my stance. This is my firm stance. I'm not going to do it. I'm trying to keep myself in the unique form that I am. I'm not going to conform to whatever bullshit that you kind of throw at me just so I can get the audience. I understand that you want to broaden your audience. You want to get the black audience. You want to get the Latinos, the whites, whatever. But there is also some kind of uniqueness that, hey, I'm going to keep this because this is how I am, and I'm going to stick to this, versus, okay, yes, the master, who you want me to make laugh today? Oh, we're going to white people. I'm going to come over here and do this, and we're going to make the white people laugh. It's stuff like that just kind of makes you frustrated, that it's almost like a sellout thing. I understand you want to get the audience, but there's just some things that you just like, no, I'm not going to do it. This is my stance, and that's it. And then once they hear that, I'm like, oh, well, you ain't doing this. I'm not even going to help your ass. You might have just gone over there and do whatever you do to survive and just make go. So I don't know.
But what's with the dress? Why the dress?
I don't know.
What is the symbolic nature of making the black comedian wear the dress, or making the black actor? Making a black actor. When just this fast, because like I said, there was a turn in which show I was going to do, and I suddenly looked up and I was like, okay, well, I got to do another show. So I decided to do this one and did a little research, and just that fast, just a little bit of research, dude, you end up with 2 pages worth of black comedians or black actors who wore a dress. Or had to wear a dress. Wesley Snipes in Wong Fu, Will Smith in Wild Wild West.
That was
of course, we can talk about Tyler Perry. Chris Rock ended up on an episode of The Fresh Prince wearing the dress. Ving Rhames in some movie called Holiday Heart. Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor in Norbit. Of course, Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House. Cuba Gooding Jr. in Boat Trip. Dwayne Johnson in Tooth Fairy. Of course, the Wayans brothers, fuck it, a dress wasn't good enough for y'all. We had to just flat turn y'all into white women in white chicks.
Right.
Of course, Jamie Foxx was Wanda on In Living Color. My man who's nominated for 12 Years a Slave. Please don't make me pronounce his name because I'm going to fuck it up. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay, don't try.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
We know who you're talking about, but yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
He was in a movie called Kinky Boots. Shaq dressed up in drag. Charles Barkley. Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson for the 2012 BET Awards threw on the wig as an impersonation of Nicki Minaj. Of course, Kenan Thompson on SNL stays in drag. CeeLo Green, Dennis Rodman, and Ricky Williams all wore a wedding dress. Arsenio Hall, of course, in Coming to America, and it traces all the way back to Flip Wilson, and then back to, of course, what we're talking about with Kevin Hart on SNL. But what is the deal with the emasculation of either black actors or black comedians in order for them to start furthering their career, it does begin to start to give you some kind of conspiracy theory feeling when you've got folks like Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle who are actively outspoken about the fact that they refuse to conform to that kind of imagery, and their careers are attacked immediately.
Right. I don't know if it's one of those, okay, if you're able, maybe it's something that, okay, if you wear the dress for a comedic stunt or anything, it shows that your talents or capabilities can be opened up to other projects where you can do other stuff. Maybe it's just like the same kind of scenario of a model that poses nude for a cover of a magazine or something like that. It kind of shows their vulnerability of, okay, I'm out there, I'm doing this, here's me, go ahead and try to put me in other stuff. I don't know. It may be some type of scenario like that, but I don't know. I mean, it's been going down from years long before the modern 21st century. I mean, it's been doing it for a long time as far as comedics are concerned. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, Milton Berle, if you're old enough to remember who the fuck Milton Berle was, Milton Berle, he did the dress thing. He did the dress thing, but I can't think in my active memory of what white comedian or what white actor it has been forced in order for your career to move forward that you got to wear the dress. I can't think of one. What's dude's name? The cable guy.
Larry the Cable Guy?
Larry the Cable Guy. He don't wear a motherfucking dress.
He sure don't.
Ain't nobody put his ass in a dress. Ain't nobody from Duck Dynasty got to wear a dress.
Right.
So I'm confused about what the fuck the deal is.
I don't know. It's one of those. It may be one of those rite to passage things. You know, a famous man. You want to expand your career. You're gonna have to sacrifice and just wear the dress. Even if you just do it once, you got the exposure. Like, okay, I did it. Let's go on, move past it. Let's do something else. I don't know. That
seems so insidious. Doesn't that seem insidious?
Yes, it does. They need to get it together. I mean, if you're going to wear the dress, at least be sexy and get some heels, you know, do the makeup, have a nice little wig on. Don't be looking all frumpy or anything. I mean, just do it. Really do it. And then just knock it out. I mean, really.
Oh, nigga, you so missed the point. If you're trying to pretty him up in the dress, you so missed the point of what the fuck I'm saying here.
I know it. I'm just making it a little bit better. Hell, if you're gonna do it, shit, go out with it. Damn. Don't be like, oh God, nigga, your ass. Oh God, Wesley. No, it's just one of those images where you see him in the drag. Nigga, you ass is ugly. Don't do that shit again. I mean, no.
You talking about Wong Fu?
Yes. That was the ugliest attempt to be in a woman in my no, just let it go.
That was a good movie though. It was a good movie.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I mean, every time you see his black ass come, you're like, oh God. Here he comes.
You'd rather see him in New Jack City.
Right, or Blade or something. Just, you know, fight some niggas off. Just leave the dresses alone. Just retire, please. No.
So let me ask you, because I mean, I'm not trying to pit one against the other, but if you had to pay your hard $100, where are you going? Are you going to see Cat Williams or are you going to see Kevin Hart?
I am going the cat side. I'm going with the psycho. Yeah, I definitely am.
So you're going to take the chance of him coming out in the audience and hitting you in the head with a damn microphone for $100 rather than going to see Kevin Hart. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying, nigga. If you got to come up here and just fuck my ass up or crack me upside the head with the mic, I'm paying you my $100. You go right ahead and do that. I sure am.
It makes me wonder sometimes if this is the stuff that our black comedians are going through in 2014. You know, what if folks like Rich and Red Fox and all of them? What did they have to go through?
Man, I mean, just kind of looking back at the times when they were actually coming up, you had, you know, all kinds of different struggles coming up during that time, and I don't know. It's just like the modern time, everybody is so protective of what they watch and so protective of what they say. You got the social media, got the microscope on you on every little bitty thing you say, and they start to criticize you as soon as you say something wrong. But the older times, I mean, you could kind of get away with that stuff, and it's funny because you can relate to it, and you can kind of get a laugh out of it, and it just moves on. I mean, it's one of those classic things that you could just look at and say, hey, that shit was funny. But you come over and say, oh, that shit is funny. But yeah, at the same time, you got somebody else looking like, oh, hell no, that shit was not right. And I'm about to protest and put up my picket signs and everything. Oh, hell no, this nigga said nigga just because he was on a comedy show and he's expressing himself the way that he normally expresses himself. I mean, it's so much of it's people, niggas, they sensitive nowadays. I don't know what the hell's wrong with people. You just need to blow all these motherfuckers up. Start the fuck over.
Welcome to the MadHouse. Does not advocate blowing niggas up. Miss Chocolate Sin is a guest host for this weekend. We do not advocate blowing up anyone. Please keep the NSA off of Welcome to the MadHouse. You can find Miss Chocolate Sin at your Gates Barbecue, located in Kansas City, Missouri. But do not come.
I'm on the Kansas side.
Do not come to Welcome to the MadHouse because of this bullshit she's talking about. That's some shit she said. We ain't blowing up shit.
I'm just saying.
Who are the big black comedians that are out right now? It's Mike Epps, it's Kevin Hart. I mean, all you hear is Kevin Hart all day long. Kevin Hart's on everything. He was just on Jimmy Fallon. He was on. He fucked me up. He was on Dave Letterman. I did not know Dave Letterman was still on TV.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's still on TV. He was on David Letterman. He was on Jimmy Fallon. He was on. He's on everybody's shit right now. Right now, Kevin Hart. I mean, you can't go wrong with Kevin Hart right about now, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Epps, who I think is just fucking hilarious to me. In my top 10 comedians. I mean, who do you like? Who are your comedians?
I actually am a Mike Epps fan. I love that dude. I actually got to meet him a few years back. He was here for a comedy show, and I took pictures with him, and we were sitting outside while there were some other comedians in there doing their act, and he was sitting outside, and we were just sitting there talking, and trust me, when I say this, his ass is just as retarded as he is on TV, because he had us dying laughing, because we was at a comedy show, and there was a hotel right across the street from the hotel, and he was like, you know what? I've been sitting here for a minute. I got a couple minutes before I got to do my show. I'm going to take my black ass over here to this hotel, hit me up some weed, and then I'm going to come back. I mean, he was like, yeah, his ass is not playing. He be doing that all the time. He is not playing. But I do like Mike Epps because he's very funny. He's genuine in what he does. I mean, you can definitely relate to what he says because niggas been through some shit. So I do like him. But I mean, there's not even really any black comedians, I mean, male-wise, that's really doing anything right now besides Mike Epps and Kevin Hart. And
the whole world is Kevin Hart right now. All you hear is Kevin Hart. I thought, to me, Mike Epps is the closest thing to Richard Pryor since Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
He's the closest thing to Richard Pryor since Richard Pryor. And I had a whole lot of folks there was a whole lot of folks hit me back, said, yeah, you crazy, blah, 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 blah. But if you listen to Mike Epps, Mike Epps doesn't just deliver jokes. He tells stories.
Right.
He tells stories that relate to his life. And that was Richard Pryor. That's the way Richard Pryor's comedy was.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Mike Epps is one of those folks. He's naturally funny. Mike Epps can tell a story about running to the post office to mail a letter, and it will be the funniest shit you've ever heard in his life, just in the way he delivers it. And to me, that's Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So now that Cat Williams is coming back, now that he's on the comeback tour, now that he's got his new special out. Like I said, if you want to look it up, just look up Cat Williams out on YouTube, and you'll see his latest stand-up. Some motherfucker. But you know what? But black folks, start buying shit. Start buying shit. The reason our black entertainers don't have what they should have, like the white entertainers, is because of you motherfuckers who bootleg every goddamn thing. Start buying shit. But this video out on YouTube was recorded on somebody's cell phone that they just went on ahead and posted out on YouTube. But it's Cat Williams' comeback tour. And like I said, it looks like Cat the way I remembered Cat when he did the Pimp Chronicles and when he did all of his earlier stuff. And it looks like he's coming back. If he's getting the mental health that he needs, I'm very grateful for that, because like I said, he's one of the funnier comedians of my lifetime. So it's good to have Cat back. So who's next? I mean, does this become one of those things where if somebody's up and coming, if they're the next rising star, if they're the person that everybody's saying, hey, you got to watch out for this, but does it become one of those things where you have to kind of sit and watch and go, let me see if you put the dress on.
Right.
Let me see if you put the dress on. If you don't put the dress on, then are we going to start to hear about police involvement and legal woes and all of this fun stuff? Or if you do decide to put the dress on, are you suddenly going to blow up and show up in everybody's movie? It's going to be an interesting thing to start to watch. It's one of those things that one of my favorite sayings that I got from my father that I like to say all the time, which is, once you are aware of something, you are responsible for that knowledge. So you can no longer plead ignorance. Once you are aware of something, you're responsible for that knowledge, so you can no longer plead ignorance. And it's one of those things that as we start to watch our comedians rise, especially our black comedians and black entertainers, once we start to watch them rise, are they going to put the dress on? Are they going to put the dress on? And if they put the dress on, if they go on ahead and decide to demasculate themselves for the sake of entertainment, whether or not their careers go flying through the roof, or if they decide not to do it, whether or not they're, attacked and suddenly, they're in the news for doing shit like slapping Target employees. But it's definitely one of those things that's going to be interesting to watch, depending on who the next big comedic star is. Just to kind of sit back and watch and see, are they going to put on the dress? Or is that the symbolic symbol that you have conformed? Is that the symbolic symbol that you've given yourself up? I don't know. But I know that it's extremely interesting. It's extremely interesting, especially, like I said, when you go through this list and you see the number of not only comedians, but actors who went on ahead and put on the dress. I mean, you think about somebody like Dwayne Johnson. You think about somebody like The Rock, who had an active action movie career. What the fuck? Why? He has no need to go on ahead and put the dress on, but he did anyway.
If you want to get the big money and you want to get the endorsements of the bigger companies, as far as, endorsements and movie gigs and all that stuff, you're going to have to go by their rules in order to really blow up like you want.
It's the Illuminati, nigga.
Call it what you want.
Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati. It's the man. Hey.
now, you tell me, and I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring this to a close, but I'm trying to think. Martin Lawrence, do you remember when he was out there on the, they found him out in the middle of the street and he was screaming and he had the gun? Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about? Martin Lawrence, there was a news report of Martin Lawrence, 1996. May 8th, 1996. Okay, this will answer my own question for me. Comedian Martin Lawrence runs into streets, yells at cars. He's got a gun. You don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember that? With a pistol in his pocket, comedian Martin Lawrence ran into traffic on busy Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks on Tuesday, cursing and screaming at oncoming cars until he was taken away by police and hospitalized. This was back in, what did I say? May 8th, 1996. Okay, now let me do a real quick search for when Big Mama's House came out.
I know it was in 2000s. I know, 2003, 2004.
Okay, that happened in 1996. And then after that, right, he did Nothing to Lose. Then he did Life. And then in 2000. So in 1996, he's standing out there screaming on Ventura Boulevard with a gun in his pocket, lost his motherfucking mind. And 4 years later, he's doing Big Mama's House. So going back to this conspiracy theory about the Illuminati, and I don't want to stay there. I don't want to turn this into one of our fucking conspiracy theory shows. But when you start talking about these black comedians who are forced to don the dress, here you've got a classic example. Now keep in mind, you're talking about Martin motherfucking Lawrence.
I know. I love that.
Martin motherfucking Lawrence. At that time in 1996, he was outside of Eddie Murphy. It was Martin Lawrence. Do the Right Thing, House Party 2, Boomerang, You So Crazy, Bad Boys. He did Bad Boys in 1995. Bad Boys. So he was on top of the fucking world, and he ends up in Ventura Boulevard screaming like a raving fucking lunatic. Why? And then 4 years later, he's wearing the dress. So I think about somebody like Cat Williams, who, like I said, was on top of the world. You think about the Pimp Chronicles. You think about all the motherfucking stand-up. Oh my God, his stand-up comedy was the shit. And then suddenly, Cat Williams is losing his motherfucking mind. Suddenly, he's smacking Target employees. Suddenly, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? And then you think about somebody like Kevin Hart, and no disrespect to Kevin Hart, no disrespect, but you think about somebody like Kevin Hart who suddenly blew up in that enormous void that popped off after Cat Williams fell off. So they need somebody to fill that void. They get Kevin Hart, and you see all these early interviews where Kevin Hart is like, oh no, I refuse to wear the dress. This, that, and other, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly, once he does, he's in everybody's movie. And it starts to make you wonder.
You know what?
Starts to make you wonder.
Right. And you brought up something too, and I kind of looked at it when you was talking about Martin Lawrence when he had that fallout in 96. Now, he was doing the Martin show. His Martin show came out in 92, 93 is when it came out, and he was doing really good. I mean, everybody loved his show, watched it, and it's syndicated now, and it came off the air in 97. So towards the end of that, what was going on? I mean, he was trying to get it. He was doing the movies. I mean, he had the show that was it was taking off really well. And then all of a sudden this happened. What the hell happened? And then
I just find it strange that, you know, in the instance of Martin Lawrence, you know, what folks talked about is that he, that Martin dealt with some certain mental issues and needed treatment for it. And then even with Mike Epps, they talked about somebody who was dealing with mental issues and had to deal with it. And now you're talking about Cat Williams, and the word again is, oh, well, he's got mental issues and he needs to deal with it. So either black comedians have a proclivity towards mental issues, or there's something about this industry that drives sane people fucking nuts.
Because it's definitely a pattern. Just looking at it, there is definitely a pattern.
There's something that drives them fucking nuts. So what is that something? What is that thing that is being pushed on them? What is that thing? What is that pressure that is being pushed on them that is driving relatively normal, sane people to be insane? I don't know. It was just something about that video. It was something about that video, and I'll go ahead and wrap all of this up. But it was something about that video in watching it where I felt a certain measure of, wow, that's fucked up, and wow, that's sad at the same time. Because, like I said, if Cat legitimately has mental issues and he's coming out with his new tour and his new movies, like I said, it's Scary Movie 5. I don't know if I get all excited about that, but if he's coming out with his new stand-up comedy and this, that, and the other, then I'm happy for him. If he's been able to address whatever is going on with him, then certainly I'm happy for him. But you gotta kind of ask the question, what's going on that our black comedians are either, like I said, they're either going on ahead and wearing the dress or they're losing their mind. I've got a certain measure of my own conspiracy theorist in me. I don't know that I am willing to believe in the Illuminati only because so many motherfuckers are talking about it. It almost feels commercialized at this point to go on ahead and call all things that it's like with it's like with Christians. Something goes wrong. Oh, the devil did it. Well, the devil didn't do all things. Sometimes your ass just you fucked up. It wasn't the devil. It was you. And it's the same thing. So many folks are willing to go on ahead and point at the Illuminati for being what's wrong in the world and wrong in entertainment. And suddenly Jay-Z is Illuminati and Beyonce is Illuminati. And if you're suddenly successful, it's because of the Illuminati. So, right. I'm a little skeptical about it, but you got to start to look at certain things like this Cat Williams situation and ask questions. You got to start to ask questions as to what happened to somebody who had such a prominent career that suddenly, folks are labeling him crazy. He's a troublemaker. He's got legal issues. And then you look at somebody like Kevin Hart, who, like I said very early on that he was not going to do something that he turned around and did, and then his career blows up. It just seems a little strange to me.
Why can't it just be somebody who's just very successful, made the right moves in marketing and strategizing and networking and being successful and just being at that? It doesn't have to be just a stereotypical, here's the excuse type of deal. So who knows?
Well, Cat Williams is most certainly back. Like I said, he's got a new stand-up that's out. He's looking to start touring across the country, and based on what I saw out there on YouTube, the brother looks just like he did when he did the Pimp Chronicles and his earlier work. So if Cat went on ahead and got some help, brother, I am right there behind you. I most certainly support you. I think you are one of the funniest motherfuckers that's come along in a long time. And just like Dave Chappelle, you all follow in the lineage of Richard Pryor in the fact that you mix a whole lot of truth with your comedy, with the funny, or you spoon feed us truth by making it funny. And I really hope that you are certainly back the way that you were, prior to all this bullshit. And if it took getting a little help, then I hope you got the help that you needed, because Cat Williams is a funny motherfucker. And I hate to say it, I don't want to put it out here like that, because I don't want to make this a great big competition. But the truth is the truth. Between Cat Williams and Kevin Hart, I'll take Cat Williams all day. I will. I'll take him all day plus some Monday. He's just a funny motherfucker. So I want to thank everybody for listening to tonight's episode. Like I said, this was so off the cuff. This was ridiculously off the cuff. Because where it was that I wanted to talk about, I couldn't put all the information together. But we ended up going ahead and putting the show together. My girl, Miss Chocolate Sin. That name just sounds good just to say it. I'm gonna say it one more time. Miss Chocolate Sin. God damn, that means she do that dirty shit.
I plead the fifth.
No, you drank a fifth, nigga. You drank a fifth. But I want to thank you so much for participating with the MadHouse, and I want to make sure that that the offer is extended publicly for you to come on back. This is that's the whole point of the MadHouse. I want all of the folks that are listening to understand that technology has set it up such that all y'all can have a voice. Come on out here. If you want to join me on the MadHouse, just go ahead and inbox me. Either hit my personal inbox for Dave Johnson out there on Facebook, or go to Welcome to the MadHouse out there on Facebook and message me and let me know, hey, let me know what the topics are. I want to go on here and participate, and come on out here, get your voice heard. My girl from Kansas City, she came on out here. Now, let me tell you something. I'm an Oakland Raiders fan. She's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Normally, we don't agree on shit. But we certainly agree that this was the best goddamn Super Bowl we have ever seen in our entire lives.
Yes. It was so nice to see them donkeys handled. Oh, man. Whew. That was the ass whooping of the year.
At that point, we came together in solidarity. So
until August, yeah.
Come August, fuck you. But I certainly want to extend the offer for you to come on back and hang with me on the MadHouse. I appreciate you being here this evening.
I will definitely be back, guaranteed.
Outstanding. So with that, I want to say, make sure you all come and check us out next Sunday. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go on ahead and click that button real fast that says subscribe. And underneath in the description, there should be a link to our Twitter account and to our Facebook fan page, where you can go on ahead and like the page. We're trying to get to 100. I want to say right now we have 73 fans out there on the Facebook fan page. We're trying to get to 100, and starting next week, either next week or the week after that, we're gonna start running promotions. We want to get to 100, and then we want to get to 200, and then we want to get to 1,000. We want to keep this thing moving. We want everybody knowing about it. So I don't know. My producer is talking about giving away money. He's talking about giving away money if you go ahead and help us get to 100. He getting desperate, y'all. He getting desperate.
I can cook up.
There you go.
Do we get a referral bonus?
As a matter of fact, my girl from Kansas City, as a matter of fact, here you go. If you help us get to 100, she gonna send you some Gates barbecue sauce. I promise you that. You gonna get some Gates barbecue sauce. So, Miss Chocolate saying, thank you so much for co-hosting with me this evening, baby. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome anytime.
Gracias, mama. And with that, I'm going to say peace.